report, Mr. Maestas.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board. I think this will be the quickest, superintendent report I'll have. Everybody's happy, administrators are happy, everybody's happy. But I'm happy because on November 7th, and as of today, both myself and Ms. Chelsea Valdez passed our, certification to be the 90-day plan reviewers for the district. It was a very difficult test to pass, but we got it done, so we got two of us, okay? So that's good. Another thing I wanted to bring up and discuss with you guys is, we do random drug testing for, our students, for our drivers, and possibly new hires and so forth. I was talking to the lady from White Sands that comes to do the drug testing. She came kind of early this time around, so we had a little bit of discussion why it was so early, and I said we should be, we should spread it out every 3 months and so forth. And so we came to that agreement, but then she brought to my attention that currently we're using what they call a 10-panel lab test option, which means that when we get our samples, we all have to label them, blah, blah, blah. They send them off to the lab, it takes forever to come back and so forth. She was telling me that there is another option, which is also a 10-panel, but it's a rapid test. And what this rapid test will do, it's not necessarily it's not that we don't have to send anything to the lab, but the only ones that we would have to send to the lab are those ones that don't come back negative right off the bat. So before she leaves here, when she comes to test that day, we will know who has tested negative. And if there's a possibility that somebody might be positive, then those ones will go off to the lab and take a little bit longer. And so I want to sit down and visit with Mrs. Montoya a little bit more to see if it's an option that I'm doing the rapid over the one we're already doing or so forth. I'm not sure. The lady did tell me that it should save us a little bit of money, but then talking to Tina, she says it's gonna be about the same. So I just wanted to inform you guys that there's that option, and I'll sit down with Mrs. Montoya or anybody else, Mr. Funk, because it does impact junior high kids, and possibly even Priscilla and Paul, because of transportation and so forth, and see which one it is that we want to get done. Because as it is right now, it takes quite a while for it to come back, and sometimes when there's a very strong possibility that they're going to be positive, it takes them about 2 weeks longer to verify if they are positive. So, that's what's at. And then I just want to give you guys an update. I just got back from Bernalillo, New Mexico. Today I attended the first annual Safe School Summit, and there was a lot of great information there. I was surprised that there was about a handful of superintendents that were there, and I know that everybody got the email, but it sparked my interest because it was something new, and it's dealing with safe schools and so forth, and I got a lot of ideas. It's a lot of the things we already know, but we got to hear it over and over and over again. And the one thing that really stood out when Mr. Carpenter came up, and he was like the MC, he's the one that was in Aztec when the shooting happened there and so forth. He threw out a stat that really stood out to me, and he said, there has never been anybody that has been killed in a school shooting that was in a locked classroom where the doors were locked. To me, that just solidifies why I insist that all doors have to be locked when there's kids in the classes. And then later on, they brought it up again, and they made it very well known that if you keep your classroom doors locked or any other doors locked, it's impossible for somebody to get in there, because what they're doing is looking for a quick access to it so they get as many shots off as they can. And one of the heroes that they had out of the Aztec team was a substitute of all people. I think she was 72 years old, and when she heard the gunshots go off, she got the kids and put them in an office, locked the doors, and got them all on the floor, and she saved 17 lives. And so, more than anything else, we have to be on top of things to make sure that we keep our kids and our teachers and everybody in our supervision safe at all times. And so, along with other things, we had Raton that also did, a presentation on, what do they call it, Claudia? Restoring, what is it? Remember they made us talk, the football players called us up? It's a program.
Oh, restorative justice?
Restorative justice, they're doing that in Raton. We had a little bit of an incident with some of their, a girl and their football players. They set up a Zoom meeting and had those kids apologize to myself, Mrs. Montoya, and, Coach Mann for, an incident that happened in Raton, and those kids got on there, they had to apologize, they had to make it right, and it was pretty awesome. And then when we were doing the presentation, they did an activity. It was funny because, we had to get our cell phones, show a picture of someone or something that meant a lot to us. And of course, I pulled out my 3 daughters and I put them on there. And then after we got to sit down, then they said, okay, now, if it's a person that you put on there, take about a couple of minutes and text them and tell them something really nice. And then they made us turn on our ringers and so forth, so I texted my 3 girls. Within about 5 minutes, I got a response from 2 of them, and one of them's asking me if everything was okay. And the third one didn't reply because she was at work. I'll let you guess which one that was, because she would've gotten in trouble. So then she texted me afterwards, says, I love you too, Raymond. So it was pretty fun, but I had a great time. And so for Mr. Wood, I do a little more than just verify, those little things, because while I was at this summit, I also attended the REC meeting in Raton, virtually.
Oh,
Okay?
virtually. Nice.
Yeah, so I was doing 3 things at one time, and luckily I didn't have to approve any of these wires, but. So, with the REC, you know, it seems like everybody around us is building a new school. You got one coming up in Des Moines, Maxwell, Raton, I even think in Mosquito. I think might be one of the only Stringers getting a new one. And we're the only ones that didn't go out for that to get a new school built, here in Clayton and so forth. But, from what I understand, the initial, steps that they had to go through was pretty, extensive, and they had to go through a lot. And so that's a big load that we necessarily don't have to go through. We have our own little battles that we're fighting here that I'll discuss here in just a second. On November 30th to the 2nd, myself, along with, one other board member and a board member to be, will be attending the, annual conference for the Municipal Boards Association. It'll be at the Embassy Suites in Albuquerque. Okay, so now moving to, is there any questions on that top part?
How long ago was the Aztec?
It's been like 2 years?
Oh,
2, 3
I
years?
thought it was 3 years.
I might be, I don't know. It's been a while. Yeah. There was two kids that were killed, and then the gunman, got himself into another building, shot himself. So, yeah, and he caught the two that he killed, he caught one of them in, I believe it was the restroom, and the other one in the hallway. So they weren't in the secure area, and so that's why he was able to get those, and those are the only ones, because everybody else was locked down.
6 years ago.
6 years ago. So, time flies, yeah. All right, so, great news, projects, track is done.
Looks great.
It does look nice.
It's awesome.
So, we're excited. I know Mrs. Montoya is, working hard to get us a track meet going, right?
Yeah.
And Mr. Funk, junior high. So we're not the only ones excited. Des Moines and everybody else is excited too, because they don't have to travel as far. So it took some doing, but, eventually we had to break, AK cells had to break away from Fishers, and we had to get Academy to come do it. They came down from, Colorado. They came in on I believe Thursday, but in one day they got it all done and so forth, and then called me and told me they were done. Then Tim calls me a little bit after that and says that Fishers had called, they're 2 hours out, so they're gonna come strike the track in. So I told Tim, you just tell them to go, turn on, go home, we're already done. So that's taken care of. On the greenhouse, the update on that, what we're doing is Mr. Doherty is, taking the lead in the project. He's gonna, get all the quotes and everything that we need, so once we get all that going, I will present something to the board and let you guys know. But the plan is, we're gonna be, an action item here is gonna be the sale of another, portable, and it's gonna be the one that's right here. The plan is, because everything's already there, it's developed, we have everything you can think of there, the water, everything. That's where we wanna go and put our new greenhouse, so that,
Is that the one that's on here for?
yes.
So, while we're on that subject, is this greenhouse gonna cover that whole entire area?
No, it shouldn't cover the whole entire area, but we wanna, Tim Cal has made a comment. That's gonna be, one of the starts is gonna be that greenhouse, but there's no reason why we can't, put other, make it like an industrial park and use it, for other things like wind energy or whatever else, and,
Well, there's a windmill over there.
and so just use it so that we can hopefully, present more opportunities for kids to work out there and get, learn and get hands-on
Well,
stuff.
That's why I bring the question up is, so why are we selling that building that's already there? Why couldn't we use that for classrooms or storage for a greenhouse?
According to what Doherty and them wanted, is they wanted more like the greenhouse and then all the open area too, so I'm just going based on.
Well, I was just curious, because it seems to me that we already got a building there to aid in the whole project, and I didn't know if there was some other reason that we were getting rid of it, or it seems like it'd be more useful to keep it than,
I mean, it's like the others, the reasons we're getting rid of them is because at this point in time, we're not using them and we're still having to pay insurance on them and we're still, and then that particular building has, I know that we're gonna have to move the, fiber over to the auditorium, so we have internet there and so forth, so. But, when we started looking at it, we looked at it without the portable being there and the greenhouse and developing it further with other things in there.
well, in your greenhouse, is there gonna be, like, part of it's gonna be maybe like for classroom storage and all that, or is it just gonna be a greenhouse? And then kids will have to travel over there to it to do stuff?
So what I can do, and because I can't answer that question, what I can do is I can ask Mr. Doherty to be at the next board meeting in December, and he can tell you, him and, I know that Mrs. Becker is also gonna be, using it also. I can have them and come and present and then tell you what their thoughts are on how they want to utilize it.
That'd be good.
That's a good idea.
So I'll ask him to come through.
Cause I just, common sense tells me we ought to keep that building if we're gonna have a greenhouse there for different reasons. And unless there's something fixed in the construction plans and,
Well, I think, one of the main reasons, and Mr. Callis was involved in the decision, was because we already have all the utilities that we need there. And if we did leave it there, we're gonna still have to do some digging and make different connections and so forth.
How big is it gonna be? Is that kind of finalized?
He's still looking into that. That's what he's trying to get to see, cause, the way, when we do the RFP, we're not sure, we're trying to see if we can find somebody that we can get the greenhouse, from that will actually install it. But if that doesn't happen, then we'll probably have to purchase the greenhouse ourselves and then get a contractor to come in and do all the other construction of it. And I know that Dora, just bought one, and so I know that Mr. Doherty's been in contact with the Dohertys there on how, what they did and so forth, and so that's what we're doing there. Okay. And then fire panels. I'm just gonna talk briefly on it, cause it's an action item too. Originally, we had a, quote on, for all three campuses for, I think it was, a little under $1 million. But with some complications and with some of the, issues that we have to meet, all New Mexico code, upgrades and so forth. Now we have to have a system that'll have a voice activation, so it'll tell us what to do and so forth. It did throw the price a lot more. So what I'm bringing up, we've already got stuff ordered for Alvis, and that's already been taken care of. But in order to get the high school done, we're gonna have to, hopefully, find about $500,000 more. We're trying to get that through our ESSER funds, and then that would hopefully get us our money we need to get the high school, fire panels done, and then we'll look at the junior high panels done later on. Back in the month of March of the 2018 board meeting, it was discussed, and at that point, the superintendent at the time said that there was not money to get it done, and she quoted, that at that point in time, it was gonna cost $1.4 million to get it done. So if that's how much it was costing back then, you can only imagine how much it's costing now after COVID. Everything's tripled and so forth, and so, it's an obstacle that we're having to get through, but we need to get the high school and the office done ASAP, because we're on fire watch at the high school.
And they're not up to code, and so that's how they gotta go, it's.
They should have been done a long time ago, but. So, and let me see, I think that's all I have. Any questions? Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Mrs. Hyman?
Yes. Madam President and school board members, the current enrollment for Alvis is 163 students, pre-K through fourth. We did enroll 2 new students this week. On November 13th, we had our first 9 weeks award assembly. Not only did we give out our A and our AB honor rolls, but we also incorporated awards for our students who earned the most PBIS points in each class for the areas of responsibility, respect, and safety. We also gave awards celebrating our SEL character strong traits. Each month, every teacher nominates students who exemplify that month's traits. Those students are then given a certificate at the end of the month. Their pictures are sent to their parents, and it's also posted on social media. And their names are announced during morning announcements. For the 9 weeks, we then took the winners of each one of those traits, put them in a little drawing spinning wheel thing. And one of them then won a special prize and an additional certificate. The kids really enjoyed those. Yes, last night on November 14th, Alvis had its first parent night and PAC meeting, and it was a huge success. We were blown away by the family and friends of our Alvis students coming out and supporting them. On the sign-in sheet, we had 165, but I know not all of the students were written down, so I think we were actually closer to 200. We discussed how parents can sign up for Power School, where they can watch their students' grades and attendance. I also talked about the need to reorganize a PAC, which is a Parent Assistance Committee. I received the 5 volunteers that I was asking for, and I look forward to working with them moving forward to plan the next PAC meeting and parent night that will be at the end of the second 9 weeks, so right before Christmas. We then did crafts with all the students, so it was a lot of fun to watch parents and students working together on their Thanksgiving craft. Lastly, we handed out pizza and water. I think it was a great night. I also wanted to thank the members of my staff that came and helped. I know we couldn't have done it without them. It was really great. Parents have been signing up to come eat with their students for the Thanksgiving meal on November 21st. We at Alvis currently have 106 parents and family members coming to eat with their students.
Love it.
On November 21st, we will also be having a school-wide Deer Day, which is a drop everything and read day. Older students are signing up to read to younger students in the school. There are also book activities that teachers are putting together and read alouds, some animated read alouds and different things. So this is a fun day that's right before the holidays that all the students really enjoy. So that is everything. I don't have any questions.
Fantastic.
That sounds great.
Love that. Great.
Madam President and School Board, our current enrollment at Kaiser Junior High is 116. On Tuesday, October 31st, Clayton Junior High students participated in an Army National Guard Red Ribbon Drug Awareness Program. Students were able to participate in several activities pertaining to drug and alcohol prevention. That was really fun. They got to wear the drunk goggles to run and to drive tricycles. It was pretty fun watching drunk. So. Also on Tuesday, October 31st, the 6th grade students from Kaiser Elementary visited Clayton Nursing and Rehabilitation Center to visit with their pen pals. The 6th grade students and the nursing home formed a partnership to write to a pen pal. So they each had someone there at the nursing home that they've been writing with, and they got to go see them and visit them and take pictures with them. Cool. So it was a great activity. On Wednesday, November 1st, Kaiser Elementary and Clayton Junior High held our first 9 weeks AB Honor Roll Awards Assembly. We also did perfect attendance. On Friday, November 3rd, the 6th grade students learned about and celebrated, Mr. Maestas?
Dia de los Muertos.
Yes, what he said, the Day of the Dead. It was a week-long learning activity. They did several different activities throughout the week and finished the week with a Mexican fiesta in which parents and friends attended. On Wednesday, November 8th, the 5th grade students had a guest speaker from P&M Homeworks. They focused on energy, sources of energy, saving energy, and natural resources. Junior high basketball starts tomorrow in the Logan tournament. The 8th grade girls play Grady at 3 o'clock. The 7th grade boys play Santa Rosa 8th grade at 3 o'clock. The 7th grade girls play Santa Rosa 8th grade at 4:30. And the 8th grade boys play Grady at 6 p.m. And lastly, our Thanksgiving lunch also is Tuesday, November 21st. And we have over 50 parents signed up so far at Kaiser Junior High.
Deadline's tomorrow.
The deadline's tomorrow.
Oh,
Y'all have any questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
So Madam President and School Board, I gave you a copy of our first 9 weeks data. And so right now, we're sitting at 84% of all of our students are passing all of their classes. 11 students, so 11 of those students are failing an Edgenuity class, so 55% of the kids that are failing a class are failing an Edgenuity class. 9 students are failing an in-person class. So on the intervention part on the back, we have class time devoted just for Edgenuity. So if you are in 2 Edgenuity classes, you have 2 55-minute classes that are devoted to nothing but that Edgenuity class. So we need to make sure that we're stricter with that class and that they're using their time wisely in that class. So one thing that is very exciting is that we have Eric Rothrock, remember, our new art teacher, will be here in January, so that's 6 more electives. That's 100 kids that don't have to take an elective on Edgenuity, so that's huge. So that should help. And then holding students accountable for attending that 0 period. You know, we have a hard time getting, those kids don't wanna come. And then teachers reaching out to parents about students not turning in assignments, because most of the kids that aren't doing well in a class it's not because they can't do it, because they're not turning in all their work. So that's what we'll be working on this second 9 weeks, and then hopefully we'll be above that 85% that semester.
Do you have
We
dual credit?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
how
but
many
those
dual-
kids, yeah, we
credit
have
courses are there?
16 kids, taking dual credit classes.
When do they start? Like,
They start at the beginning of the year.
no, I mean, do they start like, are they,
It depends,
Now
so
starting
if
younger.
it's mostly juniors and seniors, but if you are a sophomore that has a 3.5 grade point average or higher, we do have 2 sophomores right now taking
oh, that's awesome.
dual credit
Great.
classes.
Good.
And then, of course, we don't worry about them, they're rock stars, right? Yeah.
I have a question, this deal with the freshmen, that seems pretty alarming.
The freshman? No, the freshman is actually a really good class,
No, I just.
and,
On
yeah, on the data, yeah.
20%.
So 22% of the freshmen,
So it
we're
started at
failing in
0
class.
and went to 22,
Mhm.
that's kind of alarming, isn't it?
that is, And that's why we have to come up with a plan. And that's why we have these interventions in place, and then we have the concerns and solutions. And so hopefully we can get those needs met. You're exactly right. And then our seniors are still looking good, so 7% is 2 people. Any more questions on that?
So the juniors, 30% were failing 21 and now 24%?
Right,
That's terrible.
yes. Yes, you're correct.
Is it, I mean, have they pinpointed like, is it mainly their core classes or they?
No, it's mainly,
It's just those ingenuity,
it's mostly
Did I say
an
that?
engineering class.
okay.
So, and most of those kids, so the sophomores and the juniors that, especially the sophomores and the juniors that you see that aren't passing the class, are taking a credit recovery class through Edgenuity, because they didn't pass it, they didn't pass one section of it. So, all of these kids so that's another intervention, that we have on here too, is that all of those students that, like if they didn't pass biology B or chemistry B, so like the second semester, they will be with, even if they're a senior, they're gonna be in a freshman class with a real teacher, because they're not cutting it in the ingenuity work. So that's another way that we're gonna help, they're gonna have to do it in person.
And if they didn't like it the first time, they're really not gonna like it, and they'll take it again.
Right.
I'm
So
Well,
just-
how much of this do you lay on the fact of that COVID mess that screwed our kids over? Is this repercussions left over from that?
One of the biggest problems we have is the kids just won't do it. And that's what I said, they have 55 minutes to do it, to work on their Edgenuity classes. They can do it at home. They're, virtual, they can do it at home, and they won't even log in.
I do think that is part of the COVID issue though, is because when we were in COVID, we probably didn't require as much through our lessons, and then we gave them a 50 even if they didn't do the work.
Yes,
We did that
Yes.
equity grading.
well, and they got to where even whenever they could come back to school, it was like, well, I really don't wanna be in school in person, and they had too many choices, you know what I mean? It
Right.
was like, get back to school.
Right, and so I've been working with a couple of kids, and those lessons in Ingenuity are actually really good. If you will sit there and you will listen and you'll take the notes, you won't have any trouble. It's just a matter of, they don't wanna do it.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Well, she takes college classes. How many college classes are you taking?
Still is.
Just one right now.
Good for you.
So, one of your concerns and solutions is stricter monitoring of the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever's teaching this needs to get on the ball a little bit more, apparently.
Yeah, we have right now, we're looking for a full-time person. Right now, I'm just using long-term subs.
Okay.
They still have access to see where the kids are and what they're doing and what they should be doing. But it's one of those things, it can't be stagnant. You can't just sit there. You have to walk around, because these kids are dynamite at doing nothing. And they have gotten really good. I learned today that, so we have this thing called Go Guardian. And so the teacher, if they see that you're doing something you shouldn't be doing, then they can shut it down. Well, they figured out that if they go ahead and if they go ahead and get on this site that they wanna play a game, and then they turn off their Wi-Fi, it stays in the cache, but then the Go Guardian can't see
So
it.
they're capable of learning, they're just not.
They are very
Oh,
technologically
gosh,
savvy.
figure that out, that's pretty
I
smart.
was
So,
gonna
and
say,
then I had to have Mr. Doherty had to come and school me
Well,
on
maybe
what
that
they were
person
doing.
needs to shadow Mr. George.
Right, right.
No.
So,
Nothing.
Right. It's
Seriously.
right, and that's the conversations we do have. If you spent as much time trying to get out of work, just doing the work, you wouldn't have any problems, right?
Maybe mommy or
But
daddy need to come.
We
sit
did have
with
honor roll awards. We had them on November 2nd, and it was, our enrollments at 119, we're up one. Got a new student yesterday. We did have our honor roll awards. I am, incentivizing our freshmen and sophomores who don't get to leave campus. So, they didn't have to, they could be on the honor roll, A honor roll. They just had to be passing all of their classes, and they got a little, I'm passing all my classes, I can leave for lunch pass. Okay? It just had to be passing all their classes. So then I told them for this 9 weeks, I will give them they can earn that pass for being on the honor roll, for having perfect attendance, so that for everything, so they can get up to 3 little passes to leave campus, so.
That's a great
That seems
incentive.
to be working.
That's a great incentive, I like
So,
that.
and the honor roll, I mean, I thought it was really cool for the kids to see that there's some really cool, popular people that make straight A's and are on the A honor roll and stuff like that, so for them to see that. Didn't you think that went pretty well? This year for Veterans Day, we showed the video in our SEL groups. I did one of the SEL groups, and I just thought it was really personal, and the kids were able to watch the video and they were able to say, oh my gosh, that was my uncle, and they were able to tell stories. Some of the kids knew these veterans and were able to tell stories. So we wanted to do something larger scale, but it got away from us. And, but I thought it was kind of a really neat way to do it, and I got to do one of the classes.
Football team's
Yeah.
fault, they just kept winning.
Well, at least you did something.
Yes, so, and then, and the conversations were really neat, and some of the kids knew, stories about the individuals, if they were their grandpas, or their aunts, or their uncles, or stuff like that, so it was really neat. So November 28th, we're going to have our PAC meeting at the high school in the cafeteria, and I would love to have, like, half the people that you have, because right now, for our Thanksgiving lunch, we have 6 people signed up.
I didn't even know you were.
106 to 6, right? Right. So, we're working on that. The little flyers that we sent out say 12:16 a.m. It's not. It'll be 12:16 p.m. So, any questions on the CHS part?
Can you put it on Facebook or something, so maybe more little parents?
Yeah, we have it. We have it.
Have it on there.
See, I thought it was,
Kids-
I
high
thought
school
that
kids
was
just
only,
don't want to grant out there.
yeah.
All right.
Well, and only the freshmen and sophomores are forced to be there, right? The other ones can leave campus, so that's kind of an issue too. But, yeah, we'll see how many we can recruit tomorrow, how many parents. I'm going to Albus to preschool, and then I was told that I have to sit on a little chair.
No, we're
Right, that's how
bringing
I-
in extra tables.
Oh,
We
good,
gotta have-
and that's what my granddaughter told me, you guys sit on it. So I don't think she thought I could do that, so.
I wanna see it.
Your legs put you under the table.
I'm like, oh,
Mine
there you go.
barely, mine go under the table, barely.
Take pictures of it too.
So athletics, the Clayton Yellow Jackets were the 8-man state championship runner-ups. So that's, it's a hard game to lose, but, you can't lose the state championship if you're not in it, right? And they got some hardware, so that's exciting. Basketball starting, and the Yellow Jackets will play in the West Las Vegas Brian Gallegos Memorial Tournament. That will be, the week after, so the week after Thanksgiving, November 30th through December 2nd. And then we have a game in Boise City on December 4th with our JVs and our varsity. And then December 5th through the 9th, we're back in the cowbell tournament. Yeah, the varsity teams, so I'll get it now. December 15th, the JV boys and the varsities will play in Texline.
What day is that?
That is a Friday, December 15th. The JV will start at 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And then December 16th, we'll have a home game. That's on a Saturday. We'll play Penasco, and it'll be both JVs and varsities at 1 o'clock. So that's what we have coming up for the next board meeting.
Penasco's not in our district though, right? It's Pecos that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
thought you
I
said
thought
gold
you said
Panthers,
Los
and I thought, what?
I was like, oh, yeah, they're both.
I thought you said go Panthers. So, any questions on athletics? FFA? So the FFA has wrapped up their meat sales and the fruit should be here soon. The freshman and an eighth grader competed in the FFA Creed contest in Las Vegas on October 23rd, and 3 kids made it to the final round. Those were Coben Ward, LeVay Ortiz, and Layla Espino. So that's a big deal. Kim Miller from the Union County Farm and Livestock Bureau, David Prather from New Mexico Bank and Trust, Andrew Jeffers, a local farmer, and Carl Vincent, the county commissioner and Panhandle Livestock Association, had a roundtable forum with the FFA members Monday, and talked about the issues that we're facing in Union County. And then our FFA state officers visited the FFA students today. So that was exciting, they got to meet the state officers. Any questions on FFA? And the student council, due to state football, we had to cancel the fall festival, and now we're running out of fall. So we'll do some sort of a carnival, maybe spring carnival, winter carnival,
Winter.
something.
Yeah.
We'll do something, but we can't legally
Go ice
call it a
skating
fall
and
festival because we're running out.
We used to actually do that up there.
So that's our excitement at the high school.
Well, great. You guys are awesome too. I know about this time of year, you are so tired and every day's a challenge. So thank you for what you do.
I appreciate your attempts for getting the parents and community
Yeah.
involved.
100%, I agree.
Great team.
Good job.
Okay, any other questions for any of our superstars? All right, board communications?
Madam President, could I have a point of personal privilege?
Sure.
I would like to sincerely let y'all, what an honor it has been to serve with this group of professional and dignified people on this board for the past few years, and the superintendent and the staff. You guys are cream of the crop in my eyes, and it's been an honor and an humbling experience to serve with all of you. So I just wanted to get that out there. I know I've got one more meeting to go, but wanted to let y'all know it's been an honor.
He'll do it again next.
You beat me to it because, man, this guy is he is a wizard. He knows, state statutes and this, they refer to state law. I mean, he really is. He's a pillar of knowledge, and you've been
I
so
just want
good.
you all to know it's an honor to serve with all
All right,
of you.
I appreciate you.
And if you're ever bored on our, board meeting nights, we would love to see you in the boardroom.
I have nothing better to do. While I'm on the beach kicking up.
Oh, no, you and Cassie.
Takes the same amount.
Thank you. Okay. Anything else? All right. Financial matters, consideration and approval of financial reports.
Madam President, members of the board, after reviewing the financials, do you have any questions for me?
Madam President, I move to approve the financial.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the financial reports. Any discussion? This lady goes through a lot. That,
Yes.
we sat through that audit exit meeting. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is horrible.
Tell me about it.
I know, but you sat there with a smile on your face. All right, all in favor of approving the financial reports, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, financial reports are approved. Consideration approval of bars and transfers.
There are no bars or transfers.
Action items, I know we've approved the agenda, so everything on here has been approved, but if it's a, what? I would entertain a motion to move, I assume they're item D, and under action items, consideration approval of transferring class of 23 leftover funds to class of 24. And so they don't have a sector any longer, right? So, yeah, if, I would entertain a motion to move item D above, back to
Finally
item.
had an audience.
Madam
I
President,
know.
I so moved.
All right, so it's been moved and seconded to move item D to replace item to A. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. All opposed? You're welcome. All right, so under action items, we'll now make the top, consideration approval of transferring class of 23 leftover fundings to the class of 24. And this says, Clayton High School, Clayton, New Mexico resolution, whereas the senior class of 2024, Clayton High School is requesting $1,286.66 from the last year of senior class of 23, Clayton High School. That is Brian Howard and Emerson Beal.
Madam President, I move we transfer the funds.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to transfer the class of 23 leftover funds to the class of 24. Any discussion? That's some good money. That's good. That's great. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Thank you guys for setting.
I see you guys.
Thank you. You're welcome to stay for the end if you
Yeah.
want to. You don't have to run off.
Hungry.
You don't have to run off.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Moving to consideration and approval of resolution to sell portable to the Village of Des Moines for Child Care Center.
Madam President, members of the board, I got the resolution from Gino just a little while ago, so I included it in the packet, and then I got the hard one for, hard, paper copy for the ones that, needed the folders, and so, my recommendation is that we approve the sale of the portable to the Village of Des Moines for a child care center.
And that's the one you're talking about right now?
So what does that leave us with? How many portables?
3,
How many of those are being used right now?
1,
What? And those, okay, so those other two, they're the ones that are at Elvis, right?
yes.
I'm trying to wrap my mind around where these are.
Well, not to interfere with the progress of getting rid of these portables, we're getting $1,200 for this portable. And I understand moving them, getting them out of here, but I would like to know from myself and the rest of the board that, I'd like to see some blueprints to see if we actually could use this building still. You know, I mean, it's right there where we're gonna put the greenhouse, and, you know, you got kids going over there all the time, you know, someplace for storage of seed and maybe classrooms, I don't know. And I'm not trying to interfere with the sale of this, but something, common sense tells me, let's kind of take a different look at this and see if it's absolutely necessary to dispose of this building before, you know, what if we build this thing and then we gotta get a building put there to do, you know, you see what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not,
Would you like to hear from, Mr. Doherty and Ms. Beckner before we make that decision? Can we table this until December?
I don't care, they're the ones waiting for it.
Yeah, I mean, we could table it to December and wait and hear from, Mr.
They
Doherty.
probably want it for like the first of the year.
But this is, well, they wanted it ASAP, because this is how they're gonna get their daycare actually started.
Tough to turn down the daycare.
Can we sell them another one?
Well, like showed them all the ones and so forth, and, they wanted this one because it's a lot easier to get out, than the other ones would be. And then the way those were constructed with the ramps that are there, those were pretty difficult to get off. They had to get a jackhammer to get it done, fix line it and so forth, and they were willing to do it, but, I mean,
Well, what worries me too is, we heard from, NextEra Energy and this influx of kids. And so, not just, saying, well, we can't sell that one, we sell another one, but we need to be careful about getting rid of stuff and then having to turn around and pay a lot of money to replace it when we, you know what I mean? And I know we have classrooms and stuff, but, I don't know, it's something I think that we need to look at. But I would like to hear from Mr. Doherty and Ms. Benton, if they can come to our meeting.
What kind of shape's this stuff in?
they're all, I would think that the one that's in best shape is the daycare, because we put a lot of work into it on the inside, but the rest of them are probably the same. They're all, they don't have central heating, they have the air conditioners on the wall and stuff like that. I mean, they're all, that one is the only one that's really cleaned out. The others are being used as storage for different things and so forth, so.
What about that windmill over there, what's gonna happen to it?
Nothing as far as I know. I don't even know what was, when the last time they used it, or when, do you any idea? Either side.
Who owns it?
We do. I mean, it was something that they, I think,
It was that
Mesa
connection?
Labs put it up for us because we were doing classes with them. So,
Well,
We had like 3 kids
I'm not
graduate
throwing-
from that program, I think.
I'm not trying to throw a monkey wrench in this, but let's, yeah, I know Des Moines is in all our hurry to get stuff, but, I really think we need to listen to, at least see some blueprints, how they're gonna set this up. And I went over there and looked at this area the other day, and the whole half of it, from the windmill to the building, and then you got all this open, and I assume that, that's my assumption, because I haven't seen any blueprints, that the greenhouse would go on that half. And which would leave this other half with the building, if I'm assuming wrong or right, I don't know.
I don't think it's gonna be that big to take it past the wall.
no.
So I'm just saying, it just, for some reason, makes sense.
That
to
could
me.
be like a classroom or something for the.
Something, and you're gonna need some storage somewhere for the seed and all the equipment and stuff that's gonna take for doing this. And if they already have fixed into this greenhouse an area to put all this stuff that I'm worried about, then I can see get rid of it. But another thing, you got kids walking over there and stuff, if they got some place to have their class too, and say they have an agronomy class or something, I don't know. It's just
So
something,
But they're gonna have to walk over there anyway.
yeah,
So
I
could
guess
you-
you're right.
Could you ask, Mr. Jordan and, Ms. Beckner, if they could kind of, like, look at those plans for the greenhouse and tell us, like, exactly those things?
And
The only thing that I see that it might do is that if we're gonna have to run all the utilities from that building to the greenhouse, then I don't know if $100,000 is gonna cover that. That's the only thing I see. I don't.
so you were gonna
I-
think, just put the
yeah.
greenhouse over where the building is.
Yeah, that's what we had talked about when we had that.
Power and
meeting, right,
water
Cory?
and all that's already there.
Power, water,
So-
sewers.
I mean, that's what I'm saying, we only have $100,000 to get that up there. And so, if we're having to dig more and make, tie the power into it and so forth, I don't know how much that's gonna be.
And maybe Tim could look at this as well, like,
No, actually, this was his recommendation.
Can they come up with an idea of keeping the building for use as associated with this greenhouse? Or just building a new facility there and getting rid of the building? Kinda, you see what I'm saying? Comes
would
to-
you, like two
I
different.
get what you're saying, but we gotta understand, we have $100,000 to do that,
I understand that.
But we wanna make sure that okay, so we're selling it for $1,200. We don't wanna have to turn around and buy something for $12,000 to,
Well, you're not
because
gonna
we
buy
let
one
go
of
of
those
that.
buildings for
Yeah,
$12,000,
that's what I
I'm
mean.
telling you.
But you're also not gonna get power hooked up and sewer and all that for $12,000 either.
I mean, you know,
You know what I mean?
at one
There's
point in
no way
time, I
you're
know
gonna
we
get
had the
that.
discussion that you guys wanted me to get rid of them and so forth, and I was going on that, I don't care if they stay or go. I know that we're paying insurance on them, you know, and so forth, and
How much is the insurance on, do you know?
I don't know, we'd have to look into it. You know, I can tell you that for the old junior high, we're paying $11,000 a year, which is money that we could be using for something else. And then, you know, so whatever way we go.
You're
like I
paying on
said-
those other two,
Huh?
you're paying on those other two too, and they're just being
Well,
used for storage.
I felt like the one portable that was over there by Alvis, by the playground, you know what I'm talking about, on that other side where they,
The one that took
Pick
last,
up.
yeah.
yeah, I felt like that one was like, that was a nice one, that was a, I don't know.
Well, and like Mr. Messer said, there's been some work done on this one, it's in pretty damn good shape. So,
We're talking about that.
Okay, so if
Your
we,
wish is my command, I don't care, whatever
okay,
you want to do.
so, I don't know, which.
This one's had work on
It's got like a little partition in it, but it looks exactly the same as the others.
it? Yeah.
I know that some of the roofing and all that is, that was one of the things that they did bring about, and they said, well, we can replace all that.
So, if the decision's made to table it, to listen, to have Mr. Doherty and Ms. Wagner come in, can we also have Tim give us a soundness evaluation of it,
All that, yeah, I can talk to Tim, so.
if that's what we choose to do?
Okay,
Cause
that's you guys, but,
we'll throw, if it's gonna fall down,
yeah. Better somewhere.
Yeah, I
else
guess
in
it's
here.
all about like greenhouse, what kind of shape the building's in, all that, and then decide.
Madam President,
Some
I
effort
move to
tomorrow.
table this to the December meeting.
Second,
been moved and seconded to table the sale of the portable to the village of Des Moines for childcare to December. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. All opposed? So we will table that for the December meeting.
thank
Right.
you.
Thank you. Consideration and approval of new separate quotes from Honeywell for fire panels at CHS and Alice Elementary.
So Madam President, members of the board, on your agenda, if you look at it and you click on the Elvis Elementary, this is the cost that it's gonna cost us just to do the Elvis by itself. It's roughly around $387,000. I think we got, how much was it all together when we did the go bomb and all that?
It was 400 and something.
It was more than that.
For this one?
No, for the overall thing that, remember we went with the go bond and then we threw in 375, is like about 900,000?
Yeah.
900,000, so if you look at that, that's what is gonna cost us. We're already in the process of getting that done. The stuff has been ordered to upgrade it and so forth. And so with that in mind, then if you go back and you look at the other, let's see if I don't lose it here. This is the bid that came back, on the high school, and we had to go to two, separate bids because each building has separate needs. And the high school was the most complicated one because it was a battle between having to do a main panel in each, building that is standing alone, or if they could just do it to one panel and using annunciators to get it to communicate to the main panel. That's what Honeywell, went ahead and they designed. And so when the quote for the high school came back, it was, what is it, John? 900?
941,913.56.
Yeah, so that's what it came, so taking the difference of what's left over for what we had originally allocated and what we used for the Alvis, we're looking at having to come up with about 450,000 extra just to get the high school done also. And like I said, the high school is in dire need of it, because right as we speak, we are still in fire watch, we've been there. This will probably be going a year and a half once we get this year done. And so what our plan is, and I'm glad we saved, from using a lot of that ESSER money, is to move that ESSER federal money to getting that done, we're still, have we figured out how much we can actually move?
I'm still waiting to hear back from the grants.
So,
And is that the money that if we don't use it by September, we lose it
Yes.
anyways?
Yes.
so could you explain to them what the
So-
process is
Yeah, that
to
would be
get it?
awesome.
So, the ESSER three funds, they were the most we got, and we got a little over $1 million. But what they did with that is they allocated that 20% of that had to be retained for learning loss. And so that's where we did our after-school, when we did it that first year, we did our summer program out of that. But we still have quite a bit of those funds. The other 80% were allocated in different areas, health and wellness, IT,
Could that
teacher
be health and wellness?
retention. So it is actually gonna fall under, we went through the rest of the application to find where we had monies left. Then have to request that we be allowed to reopen the application, move those funds into an area of health and wellness, so it's for, I can't remember the wording per se right off the tip of my tongue, but, we have to get approval to be able to move those funds. So I reached out to my contact that I had last year, and they never got back with me. All of the, grants department in, PED changed. All of them either retired or quit, and so they are all new there this year. So I reached out to the head of the grants PED, I've not heard back from her yet, so I will try again to reach out to some, I'm just gonna start emailing them all until somebody responds to me, I've decided. Because I need them to open it back up so that I can transfer those funds around on the application. Then they have to look at it, approve it, and then, which they should be able to prove it, it falls under the area we need it to, and we can use that money for.
But it's a process, every time we have to do something like that, it's a lot of,
Another
gotta
hoop.
jump through.
Yeah.
And so,
So
If
if we can't get it through there, where are we gonna get it?
well, I did talk to Brad Angst about, using the rest of the bonds that we have out there and maxing those out. He emailed back, said that we could possibly use those. I also know that the way I had, planned it, when it's all said and done, we might have enough in SB 9 monies to get it done. There should be about $400 and some thousand left in there.
You told me something about those bonds, that if it showed that we had to use them, that it might show that we were in need of
It,
more funding.
it throws everything,
It's all in.
it's just a weird situation how it is, but, he's currently working on it to see, if we do decide to sell them to capacity, how much money that would generate. And then, but, we're hoping that we can move the federal funds, cause, we might as well use them up, because come September, we're gonna have, even if it's $20,000, it's hard to spend $20,000 in a week or so. And, you know, and if we can do that, not have to touch whatever SB 9 money we have. You guys laugh, but you don't understand the limits of
And then,
what
and
you
then
can
you
use
have
them
to
for.
show where it's
This
going
is
through
kind of
your
off the
audit.
subject
Yeah.
of what we're talking about with this Honeywell fire panels, but can't some of that money that you're talking about be used to hire a person to run that class that
No.
you're having trouble with?
No,
Is the net affected from?
no.
Well, we have the funds to hire somebody for that class, we just
Oh,
don't have
I
a
need one.
person to
We
hire.
don't have the somebody.
Okay.
I mean, Ms.
Back on the
I
subject.
tried to
As
talk
of January, you could take over that class.
Yes, Rick, you could do that.
They would learn so
I'm
much
not
from you.
Qualified
You
teacher.
just have to be an EA, we'll get you an EA license.
Careful what you wish for.
I just
You'd
threw
be
that out
awesome.
there.
You would be awesome, I think you would be awesome. I wouldn't mess with you.
Okay,
So this deal with the CHS and Alvis Elementary panels, would the junior high feed off of the Alvis panels?
No.
That's what I was gonna ask, is junior high.
We're gonna have to, we're gonna have to wait on those are still operating the way they should. Of course, it's a newer
But in 2
building.
years.
Okay, but eventually, we're gonna have to get those ones done too.
Which they'll be in the realm of that 900,000.
No, this, I'm talking, this
That's in
is,
the future.
that's in the future, that's got nothing to do with what we're talking here.
No, I
This is just
understand,
the
but
high
I'm
school.
saying when that has, that
No,
comes
it's not gonna be as much as 900,000,
for the junior high?
no,
No, because they won't have all those surrounding.
because it doesn't have any buildings that are outside of, I say it's gonna fall more under the same price, maybe.
Because we have so many
Alvis.
buildings on this campus that we're
Need
having.
more, yeah, and so I think it's gonna fall,
But too, the SB 9 and the HB 33 money regenerates every 2 years, right? Because it has to be voted on to be
Right.
released. So if you use some of that and then in 2 years, or 4 years.
I don't think we have enough SB 9 money though to do it, do we?
I don't know.
it would be close, but I don't know, cause I had planned, when we did this, that's why I went for the GO bond, I had planned to keep, about $400,000 in SB9 money.
But we had to use some for the track.
So what are we voting on, are we looking at these bids and approving these bids?
We're voting on, separate bids.
Okay, so they're, okay.
So, and you're still waiting on what she finds out on that.
Which I feel very confident that they will let us move those funds, because it does fall under the purview of where we can spend our funds. It's just finding somebody that
That
will
would
tell
kind of
you.
help.
Yeah.
And Jessica's really good about staying in touch with me, letting me know what's going on and so forth. And I've told her where we're at and what we're trying to do, so she's very patient. But in the meantime, while we're waiting to see if that money gets moved over so we can get the stuff for high school, they can go ahead and get started on Alice.
So regardless, you're needing us to approve this so we can get going, basically.
Well,
Look
basically,
how long it took
And
us
then
to even get
you're
here.
gonna find the money somewhere.
yeah, because the original plan was is that we were gonna do all three of them at once. Well, it didn't work out that way, so, we needed to basically go with 3 separate bids, one for Alvis, one for, high school. And these are the bids for the high school and the Alvis. Alvis is already at a point, because we had the money allocated for that, she's already ordered stuff to get everything going. And so it's basically just saying that we have to separate the original bid so that we can get the two schools done.
So we're basically canceling the original bid.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Madam President, I move that we approve the consideration of the new separate quotes from Honeywell for fire panels at CHS and Alvis Elbridge.
It's been moved and seconded to, approve the new separate quotes from Honeywell for fire panels at CHS and Albus Elementary. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The new quotes have been approved. Consideration and approval of superintendent formal and informal evaluation form. I sent you guys I gave you the one that Gus gave us, and then I sent you one that we had used in the past from Hugh Fraser. And that's a pretty good.
Oh, you found that?
I found it. I sent it to you. Yes, I dug and I found it. And so, but the one from Hugh Prather, it is more, I feel like it's more about like those aspects of communication and those things that we had talked about. So, we just need to get that done because in December, we, give him his formal evaluation. And then I also sent you I just created a little informal, evaluation. And it just had like 4 areas. It was for the quarterly.
See, I never got the
evaluation.
Prather one, I got the four
Oh, you did?
question, but I never
Okay,
got
let
the
me
other one.
see. Let me go back to my sent box and then make sure it's in
I don't doubt that you sent it, but I don't think I got it.
be through, they would do like a staff morale survey and stuff like that. They can certainly do that. I think their admin team would have to meet on that.
I think there's already actually one out there that I can get my hands on. Well,
Oh, there is?
Yeah, other districts do it. I know that I had one done on me when I was in Vanessa. That's a person,
But it
I
does,
think that would be good.
like the one that we use, it asks you about like your immediate supervisor, so like your building principal, and then it's,
So we can create one on Survey Monkey too.
yeah, because if it's only within so many questions, it's a free survey.
Yeah, can we do that?
Yeah, they can actually do that.
Yeah, we can do that.
Sweet.
Okay, so, there's the one from you, Prather, that, I'm sorry, Gus, I don't know how I'm.
I don't think it's your
pulling this
fault.
up.
I think it's probably me.
No,
Cassie knows it's probably me.
It's his name, I think, because I made the same mistake. I
Oh,
put Gus,
really?
not Guston.
see, I put, it has Guston on here. It
Oh.
says,
Yeah.
Light went on right there, right?
Yeah, it did. It happens to me a lot.
Did I not attach it?
Gus
Did you guys
gets me in
have it?
trouble a lot.
Madam President, what are we doing here? Are we gonna do
Okay, so we have to decide if we're gonna use the form, whichever form for his formal evaluation, which is next month.
So we're voting on,
We're
On a
voting on which
specific-
one we want.
Let's use the one that you picked.
The
Because
one
that I
from-
found is too
Well, the
long.
one that you had, it was, there was.
we've
some
used the
similarities.
Prather one before.
Yes, we have.
So we're familiar with it. Gus isn't, but we are.
Okay. And
You
so,
I'll figure it out.
so here's how it goes down.
And what's the informal one, 4 questions that you asked?
Yes, the informal one is the one I sent, and I sent you copies of that. I think it was very basic, kind of what we do anyways. So anyways,
Can we do this by hard copy and not on our
You can-
computers?
yes, you don't wanna do it on your computer.
Okay.
You want a hard copy of it, we can make hard copies of the Hugh Prather one. I'll come in and, send it, and then give you hard copies, and then it has to be sealed so that
Okay.
it goes to him only.
Madam President, I move that we adopt the formal and informal evaluation form, the Hugh Prather and the informal 4-question one that you sent out.
Second.
Okay, okay, great, now I have to remember. Okay, it's been moved and seconded to adopt the formal evaluation from Hugh Prather and the informal evaluation, the 4-question one that I sent to each board member. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, so we'll use the formal Hugh Prather one and the informal one I sent.
And that's for the quarterlies, right?
Yes. Okay. And I will get those forms to you before your, do you want them just by your board packet, or would you like them before then?
Before
Okay.
then.
Okay. All right.
Whenever it's works for you.
And then
works
just
for me.
remember that is just as sacred
Can you
as
get them to
executive
Cassie and she
session.
can just put them in our board packet?
I could, but I'll get them to you guys sooner than that.
Yeah.
I'll come in.
Yeah, because those board packets usually aren't ready till Friday before the
Okay,
meeting.
I'll send it to you, and then if we can just get copies, I can
Yeah, absolutely.
deliver them. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so then we have, moving to E, consideration approval of resolution 230002 regarding bars and transfers.
Did you guys vote on it?
There-
No.
No, the resolution of the bars and transfers,
But
because,
did you vote on the adoption of, you did?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pay attention.
He was trying to block that out, that
I
was.
was trying to block that one out.
great.
This is like the resolution that you guys signed at the end of the year, you know, if I needed to do a bar or a transfer, and then in between meetings, and then I'd bring it for approval at the next meeting, because
Oh.
we had to
Sometimes
do,
it does.
yeah, we had to do some,
That's a pain.
and,
Yes.
well, I had to wait till the last meeting to get it
Yeah.
approved, to get it into OBMS, to get it into, get the process. Yeah, yeah, so,
We get it.
so, yeah.
Okay.
Madam President, I move that we approve the resolution 2023-002 regarding bars and transfers.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the resolution 2023-002 regarding bars and transfers. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. All opposed? Okay, so the resolution 2023-002 regarding bars and transfers has been approved. Items suggested for future meetings, I've been writing these things down here.
Me too.
You
We,
guys look tired.
we also have, the senior trip, right?
Oh,
Oh, yes, so-
Seniors will present
Oh,
for their senior trip early. Good.
good. And they know to have all their money
Earmark,
encumbered by
May first.
May first.
And if approved, we'll probably have the audit,
Earmarks.
Just give them.
annual audit too, if approved. They have to approve it first, then we'll bring it in.
Okay.
And then superintendent evaluation, formal evaluation, and then we have.
And then,
The Beckers
Oh.
and Doherty.
No, there's 31 in May.
Yes, and then we tabled the portable thing, so we'll move that to December 8th. And you guys come. Yes, oh, yeah. and we need- Right. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
Madam President, I move to adjourn the second motion.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor, please say aye. All opposed, meeting is adjourned at 7:16.
Wait, I need to.
Oh, let me,
I'm like,
Don't
don't
live. I
Stop.
already turned the recorder